I think we are live now. Okay.
Yeah, we are live. Hi everyone. Hi guys.
Let's wait for a couple of minutes for people to join in. So we have 12 people watching right now. Guys, you can comment on the live chat below. Dharni Mudaliar, I think you meant Ankit and not Anirudh.
Okay, so Dharni has asked from when can we start giving mocks? Very simple answer. The right time to start giving mocks is today, or right, like from the present. Even if you're not done with your complete syllabus, you've not covered your portion for MBA CET, and you feel you still need to prepare more, practice more, it is still recommended that you start giving mocks on a regular basis. Start off slowly if you want. If you feel you're not completely prepared, start off with a smaller or a lower frequency of mocks. And as you start preparing more, and as you start giving more mocks, analyzing more mocks, you can increase the frequency. But definitely start giving mocks from now itself, because it is through your mocks that your learning curve will actually increase and your scores will actually increase. Because from your mocks and your analysis, you will start drawing insights as to what are your stronger sections, what are your weaker areas, where you need to really improve in terms of questions that go wrong, accuracy, time taken, MPM, all of that. So start giving mocks even if you feel you're not completely done with the preparation. Don't delay it for too late.
Correct. So, Dharni, my answer would also be in a similar manner as well. So, there are a couple of students, who messaged me last month around 6th of April, saying that should I start giving mocks? And at that time, I said them, yeah, you can. And the same students, messaged me a couple of days back, like, I haven't given any mocks in the last 1 month. I'm feeling demotivated. Should I start giving mocks now, or is it too late? So same, the answer is never too late. It is never too late to prepare for CET. You can start as soon as possible, because there are examples such as Aditya Prabhu, whose interview we have taken. It's on our YouTube channel. He had jumped from 100 to 130 in a span of 1 month, right? So everyone prepares on their own different level. So obviously, it is never too late to prepare for CT and never too late to start giving mocks. Giving mocks is one thing, and analyzing it is another thing. So giving mocks is easy part. Analyzing is the difficult part. So you should ask how we should analyze a mock. That is the correct question, I think. Mocks तो अभी तक दे देना चाहिए. Start as soon as possible. Okay. Jasneet Kaur has asked, is MHCT application, will it open again? So, Jasneet, we are not very sure. So, right now, CET has already been extended, but we don't know if it will extend or not again. It is completely upon the CET people, the exam setters. They tend to change their decisions very often. So, we cannot, put name to it, yes, they will open it again or not, but for now it is closed.
Sneha Pandey has asked if a person has no experience before doing MBA, then do big companies hire them? Definitely, we have a lot of freshers in our own college itself who have gotten very good offers from very good brands or very good companies, and companies do actively consider looking out not only freshers but also people who work experience. So there is no bias as such. people who having no work experience or who haven't worked in corporate before, they still do end up getting very good placements, and it's all about performing well during the interviews and having a good profile and all of that.
Yeah, true, Sneha. A lot of students from our batch with no work ex or with even with gap years, with a not so good profile, have secured good placements in really good companies. So yeah, you shouldn't be worried about that. If you are getting into the top 10 colleges in India, definitely the placements part is being taken care of. All you have to think right now is to get into a good college, and the seniors are definitely there to guide you for everything related to placements. So Prasad is asking, CET 23 would be my main and second attempt. So should I work for this from this June to December? Okay, CET 23 is a, yeah, I think I lost you, Ankit. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible now. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Prasad is asking, CET 23 would be his, main attempt and second attempt. So should have. So it completely depends, Prasad. So from June to December is a, not so long time, just to, if you are thinking that just to get some work ex before joining MBA you should work, then my answer would be it wouldn't matter much. You can get some experience before joining an MBA, or you can come, without an experience, but it wouldn't matter much. All they look after you is how you improve your profile. So rather than working from June to December, you can, work on different things, like, you can get some internships related to MBA. And it also depends on what kind of work will you get. So you are saying June to December you'll work, but what kind of job are you going to get? There is no surety in that as well, right? So my suggestion would be, now you have 3 months of time for preparing for CET, and 3 months are more than enough to crack JBIMS. So rather than thinking CET 22 as your, just a maiden attempt or the first attempt with no big importance, I would suggest look at CET 2022 as your main attempt, and then think about CET 23 later. तो अभी से ही एक साल के आगे का सोचने का I don't think there is a point. अभी for 3 months until August, focus on this. After that, if you want, you can study for 23. But if you see August में CET हो जाएगा, August September में, and then within 2 or 3 months there is CAT exam again, then there is NMAT, CMAT. All the big colleges exams are going to happen soon. So I think you should focus on getting into a college rather than getting 6 or 7 months ka work ex. That would be my suggestion, because a fresher or a person with 6 to 7 months ka work ex doesn't have much difference while they look at your profile in an MBA college.
Yeah, I agree with Shreekanth. Whether you're a fresher or you have around 4, 5, 6 months of work experience, there isn't much of a difference unless you complete that 1 year mark. And yeah, I agree that you focus on this year's CET. You still have 3 months of time. Get done with that, and then maybe you can plan out as to how you want to go about things.
Right. Rajeshwar asked, hello sir, about the TTP course today. So Rajesh, you will get the confirmation within 24 to 48 hours. So just stay tuned, you will receive it in your email ID. Sneha Pandey, yeah, again, your question has been answered. Any company, big companies, NCP, NPCI, I think you meant, and other companies as well. Okay.
Anushree has asked, do we get good FMCG opportunities in JBIMS? Yeah, definitely. We do have good FMCG companies coming to JBIMS offering finance roles, marketing roles, even ops roles. And you can read up more about the kind of companies that come in the placement report itself of JBIMS.
Yeah, and just to name out a few, if you can, it's already in our placement report. So companies like Colgate, Asian Paints, Pepsi, Johnson and Johnson, P&G, HUL, etc. All the big names definitely come into JVMS even for summers and as well as for finance. Shreekanth sir, could you please tell a 85-day prep plan, or if possible, to make a video on it, how to complete the syllabus and mock schedules in these days if possible? So Ajay, I have already made a video named How to Prepare for CET in the next 7 to 8 weeks. It's already on our YouTube channel. If you have my contact number, you can DM me. I'll text you the link for that video. You can search the video in our Top Percentile YouTube channel as well. It's there. I have mentioned each and everything, how you can complete your syllabus and what mock schedule you should follow for the remaining days. Okay, Blossom says, what is the weightage of traditional logic puzzles CR in the LR section? So technically, normally in the 75 questions which are there in the LR section, around 35 questions are from traditional logic questions, and remaining 40 questions are from puzzles, which also includes input output. And these, in the traditional logic, the 35 questions, the critical reasoning questions will also be included. So critical reasoning questions are roughly around 10 to 12. Remaining 25 to 27 would be traditional logic questions, and roughly around 40 questions would be from puzzles. But don't go with the weightage as per, because every year this tends to change. Sometimes there may be one puzzle lesser than the previous year or one puzzle more than the previous year. So don't go with the exact numbers, but yeah, prepare each and every topic separately and focus on each and every topic. That will help you in the long run, because there shouldn't be a weaker section or a weak area in your CET prep. You should always focus on the best parts, like all the topics should be covered. So just to give you an example, I was mentoring one of my students today, right now, like an hour ago, and he mentioned that he is really weak in arithmetic, and he was not able to solve arithmetic questions. So my simple question to him was, did you solve at least 50 questions from arithmetic topic from each and every topic which are solving? And his answer was no. So the simple analogy which we can draw out here, simple info that we can draw out over here, is that if you do not prepare enough for a particular topic, you will definitely be weak in that topic. So what you have to do is solve around 50 questions from each and every topic, and then you'll realize, yeah, are you weak in this or are you strong in this? Rather than solving 50 questions and just going by the mocks analysis, and you are not able to solve a question in mock and thinking that, yeah, I'm weak in this particular section, will not cut it. You will have to work hard. Every section should be your strong section in CET. You can't have a weaker section. Sahil,
Yeah, Sahil has asked, I'm going to complete my BCom and I have no work experience. Will I get summer placement opportunities at JBIMS? Again, Sahil, as you mentioned, that freshers do get good opportunities, and equally as compared to people with work experience. So there is no bias as such as compared to if you're a fresher or if you have no work experience, you will not get good opportunities, whether it be final placements or even summer internship opportunities. We have seen this ourselves, where in our batch we had a lot of BCom graduates or commerce graduates who had just got out of their college and they were basically freshers, and yet they got very good opportunities for both summer internships and final placements, and some of them converted PPOs within their summer internships as well. So you definitely don't need to worry about that. Just work on building your profile, work on acing your CET exam, and everything else will take its course.
True. Everyone will get a decent opportunity if they get into the top 20 college, and that is true in the case of JBIMS as well. It definitely gives you a second chance in your life for people who have think that they've messed up in their graduation, or want to rebuild themselves as someone who is able to work in a leadership role and a good role. JBIMS will definitely give you that opportunity. How is CET preparation different from CAT? So I bet. So CET preparation is a lot different. Majorly, if you see, CAT is a conceptual based exam and CET, whereas, is a time based exam. In CET, you have 200 questions to solve in 150 minutes. So the entire focus over here is to solve as many questions as possible within the given time limit. Whereas you don't have sectional cutoffs as well. Whereas in CAT, you have strictly 1 hour for verbal, strictly 1 hour for quant, strictly 1 hour for DILR, right? And apart from that, you have a strict cutoff that you have to score more than XYZ percentile, and then and only then you will clear the cutoff for each section. Whereas in case of CET, nobody is going to ask if you solved a difficult DI set, if you solved an easy DI set, or if you did not solve quants ke some questions and solved LR ke some questions. So that doesn't matter at all. So in this regard, CET preparation is completely different from CAT, and also it is not necessary that a person who has scored a 99.9 plus or 8 plus in CAT will definitely score a 99.99 in CET, and vice versa is also true, because both the exams require different kinds of ability. So in CET, major ability is based on the time-based skill. So you have to strategize basis the time you hand your hands to score the maximum marks possible, right? So, and also CET prep, CET questions are a bit on an easier level as compared to CAT. Apart from that, you have much more time for a single question in CAT than in CET. So there are these basic differences. If you give one mock of CET, you will definitely understand what I'm trying to say. Also, one mock of CAT will give a basic idea. GMC News says, what is the consulting scene at JBIMS? It's out in the placement report. More than 50% of our batch are placed in consulting. So you can go there and check it out. GMC.
Yeah, we had a very fantastic year for consulting in our final placements, and there were a lot of different companies that came to our campus for consulting. In fact, JBMS had one of the best years this year for consulting, and you can just read up about it. It was all over the news, and you can check out the placements related details as well, and you'll know better which companies came and what was the scene like.
Correct. Okay, so SJ has asked, out of 50 questions in QA, how many questions can we expect that are very easy, like can be done 45 seconds or rather 1 minute in actual CT exam? Like if you could tell me with some rough idea. So it is very dependent upon your preparation, SG. So what exactly I'm trying to say over here is that, for example, one question can take 45 seconds for me to solve, whereas Ankit might take 2 minutes or 3 minutes to solve that question. Even there might be some questions where Ankit would take only 30 seconds to solve, then I would take 2 to 3 minutes, right? Depends upon our level of practice and our level of conceptual knowledge about that particular question. So what we have tried to do in our course is that every topic has some kind of shortcut tricks, and every question has some kind of tricks which you can use to solve a question quickly, and we have covered all those topics in our videos. So you can go through them and then look at it, which exactly are the topics which we are talking about, and then you can make a decision कौन से questions है जो 45 to 50 seconds में solve कर सकते हैं. And there is no rough idea. If you are strong enough, all questions you might solve in 45. There are so many questions which people solve orally. So I've seen some toppers जो question मैं pen and paper use करके solve कर रहा हूँ, and takes around 2 minutes. Ankit would solve those questions orally within 30 seconds. And I can't, pick and choose कि यही है question जो वो कर सकता है. It depends upon your practice. So exercise which I'd like to give you in order for you to get to that level would be to solve 50 questions each of every topic in quant at least. And then, depending upon your weak areas and strong areas, solve more questions accordingly, and that will help you, get to that. And to give you a rough number, I think 30 to 35 is a good score in quant. So around 25 questions or 15 questions, depends upon your level of preparation, you can solve within 1 minute or so. Okay, so how should I change my strategy from CAT to CET? I bet so. There is no much difference, in terms of strategy. I always suggest a simple thing, like what you have to do is how do you track your CET preparation. So I generally give a simple exercises to that. You solve 100 questions every day related to CAT. So if the same thing goes for CAT, if you're preparing for CAT, there should be a target कि आज मैं 50 questions करूँगा CAT level के. And if you're preparing for CET, similarly, आज मैं 100 questions करूँगा CET level के. So strategy depends upon the number of questions you do, what kind of preparation level you are at right now, and where do you aspire to reach, and what are the target score you want to get into. So this should be the strategy. The entire strategy is solving questions, practicing as much as we can. That is the only thing which will help you. Baki, if you overthink about this, it's not going to help you. Just put the pen on the paper and start solving questions, and it will help you a lot.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that the mentality that you need for CAT and the mentality that you need for CET are very different. So if you're prepared for CAT and if you study for CAT, you cannot go into CET and preparing for CET with the same kind of strategy or the same kind of mindset. And you have to bring that change into perspective. And that is why we as mentors or we as people who are helping you plan with the CET preparation or CET strategy come into play, because we help you make the transformation or the transition where CET is more of a speed-based exam, and you have to change your mindset accordingly, and you have to be very, very, very dynamic in terms of solving the mock or solving the exam and moving back and forth between questions, which does not happen that much in CAT. So there is a lot of change that takes into account when you are shifting from CAT into CET, and you have to be very, very accurate in terms of how you go about solving your CET mocks.
True. Sujit is asking, sir, I am confused between taking course or do self-learning from YouTube. So, Sujit, there are a lot of students who have these kinds of doubts, and because of this reason, we have launched our program. So, I won't call it as a full-time course. So, what the Top Percentile is providing you is with mentors such as us. So, if you go for self-learning in YouTube, I'll give you a simple example. There are around 10-20 channels in YouTube which will prepare you for quants. There are hundreds of videos of quant, there are hundreds of videos of LR. Which videos are you going to look at? If you go through one video, your friend will say कि अरे ये दूसरा channel का video is better, वो solve कर लो या उसके through पढ़ लो. Then someone else will suggest कि अरे नहीं इसके through solve कर लो. So what we are trying to do over here is कि self learning में the most important thing which you require is a mentorship. कि एक बंदा आपको जो बता रहा है कि this is the things which you want to follow और ये है. We are not running your classes wherein we call you for 3 hours of lecture on Saturday, Sunday या फिर ऐसे 2-3 घंटे के lectures के लिए कोई बुला नहीं रहा है. You have our content with you, you have some practice materials with you, and you have mentorship along with your preparation. बाकी तो आपको खुद को ही करना है. So I'd suggest self-learning is important, but self-learning with a proper idea and proper path. That is the key. Because if you see 140,000 people are giving CET, 90% of them do self-learning, right? So who are the ones who get into JBIMS are the ones who have an idea ki what exactly do I have to learn. So I think we can help you in that terms. And also our courses are comparatively cheaper to any course you see online. If you go for a classes, it will range around 30 to 40,000. But yeah, our courses are around 5,000 to 6,000. So I think we can help you in that term, but it's your decision entirely.
Okay, guys. Before we move ahead, please do like this video. The more you like it, the more it reaches out to other aspirants, and the more we get motivation as well to do such videos, to do such Q&A, to come at 11:30 in the night and solve all of your CET doubts. So please like this video.
Correct. Yeah. Swaroop Kulkarni says, I'm consistently scoring between 115 to 125 in CET mocks. How can I further increase score? So Swaroop, it is a very generic question. So there are lots of videos in our YouTube channel where you can go through and look at which are your weaker areas, because I don't know where exactly you're lacking. You might be scoring very good in verbal or might not be scoring very good in LR, or vice versa could be true. So I can't give you a generic answer over here, but yeah, there are a lot of topper interview videos in our channel with timestamps. You can go through them. They are prepared each and every section. We have asked question related to words, related to verbal, etc. You can go through those questions in their timestamps and see what they have given the answers, and you might find your answers over there. Or else you can also join our course, connect with us. Our course might also help with you because we are still providing the one-on-one mentorship. We might as well help you in that term. So yeah. Rit has asked. Yeah, Ankit, go ahead.
Yeah. So Rit has asked minimum score in quants according to you. I would not suggest a minimum score in quant, but ideally, if you're giving around 30-35 minutes minimum, as per the time that you're giving it, you should be getting at least a baseline of 30 marks or 30 score in quant, considering the amount of time you're putting. If you're putting in 40-45 minutes, then you can try and reach the 35 mark as well as slightly more than that, depending upon your speed and your accuracy. But ideally, for 30 to 35 minutes that you're putting into quant, you should be able to reach minimum 30 marks at least. What do you think, Shreekanth?
Yeah, so I have a similar answer to this. So what I look after is for every section to what should be the minimum marks or what should be the ideal marks, which one should aim for is simple. You have 150 minutes, and if you score 150 marks, you are going to be the rank one in CET exam, right? So coming to the 150 minutes which you have, how will you bifurcate over the entire section is that what I technically do is give around 55 to 60 minutes for LR, 15 to 20 minutes for abstract, 30 to 35 for verbal, and 30 to 35 for quants. And if you add up all these times, you will get around 150 marks. So that should be your target score. So when I say 30 to 35 minutes for verbal and quants, 30 to 35 minutes are the number of marks which you should be aiming. Obviously, there is no minimum, there is no maximum. If you definitely get 30 marks, it's a really good score. It's a decent score. So, don't look at the key ye section mein meko minimum aayega. So the reason you're asking this question, I can guess, is that you are weak in quants. And in order to get strong in cons, solve a lot of questions. Just don't think that you are weak in cons. So just don't let that fear get inside you. Ki nahi, I am weak. Give importance to that section. Give importance to your weaker areas. Practice your weaker areas, and then you can improve upon it. And Pope says no query. Just say to thank you for sharing your experience. Thanks a lot. It means a lot, Pope. Also, if you can, share our videos with our friends, it will help us a lot as well. Thank you. It's really good that people, recognize our efforts which we are doing. Thanks for that. Himanshu says,
Himanshu has asked, can I crack CET without quants? So if you're aiming for the topmost college, if you want JBIMS, then definitely you cannot leave out quants at all. If you feel you're weak at quants, or if you feel you need to improve at quants, so this is the time. You have 3 months to go and put in those efforts, put in those hours, solve quants every day on a regular basis, pick up different topics every day and just solve 20-30 questions till you become strong at it. Then a lot of people have fear of numbers or fear of quant, and that is they don't work on it and they just leave it for the very end, and then they start believing that they can work on the other 3 sections and just leave quant completely and try to optimize from the other 3 sections. But trust me, that is not going to happen. To get into a college like JBIMS and to get those top ranks or the top scores, you have to be very, very good at all of the 4 sections. Of course, there will be a bit of up and down across which section is the most stronger for you or more weaker for you. But on average or ideally, you have to be at least decently good at all 4 sections. So you cannot be leaving out quant. If you feel you're weak at it, start working on it now itself, but don't leave it completely.
Yeah. Again, Himanshu, you feel that leaving quants, the reason is that you have not prepared well enough for quants. I will ask you a simple question. Have you solved 50 questions each from each of the quants topic? And if the answer is no, then you are at no point, to decide to leave quants or not. First, solve 50 questions from each topic, and then you decide if you want to leave or not. Before solving those questions, you can't decide कि मुझे छोड़ देना चाहिए or move on to a different topic altogether. Focus on areas which you are strong at. There is still time to get strong in each and every section. So don't leave any section. Ajay says make one session about, so Ajay will definitely do that. We'll call our friends from JBIMS as well to give a glimpse of what exactly is life in JBIMS, and also we will be starting our job soon enough, so we'll also share details of life after JBIMS as well. So stay tuned to our channel, subscribe to our channel as well for that. Ankit says, what should be the ideal plan at the moment to get into JB? Ideal plan is to solve at least 100 questions every day. Give mocks regularly. If possible, give mocks every alternate day and solve as many questions as possible. This should be the only thing which should be in your mind. And the plan should be to get into the top 10 ranks in each and every mock which you give. The more the efforts you put in, that is the ideal plan to get into JB. There is no, different secret something which someone knows and someone else won't know. Aisa kuch nahi hai. Just keep solving question and then you get into JB.
Yeah, and just be consistent. We observe that a lot of people start out, make a plan, make a structure in place, but then after a few days or after a couple of weeks, then they're not able to follow through with that, or they take a big gap in between, and then they have to reset with their preparation again. So don't do that. You have 3 months of time. Just prepare consistently for the rest 3 months. Make a proper structured plan in place as to how you're going to prepare, how many mocks you'll be giving per week, or what will be your practice, what will be the practice question, how you'll be solving them, and all of that. Just make a proper structured plan in place and just follow through with it. That is very important.
Right. Subhadip Ghosh has asked JBMS ko. See, so Subhadip, it's completely not in our hands to, to increase the seats or not. But what you have in your hands right now is to focus on the exam and get into the top 18 ranks as such. Even if you are from a, non-Maharashtra candidate, this is the only way you can get into JBMS. And every year, 18 students uh, who are thinking the same as you do get into JBMS. So it is difficult for each and every one of them. In even the open category seats in JBMS are only 40. So it's difficult for each and every student. Nobody can say कि it's easier for someone else, etc. And seats तो अभी जो है वो है. It's completely a state-driven college. So अभी government को तो हम लोग जाके बोल नहीं सकते in order to increase the seats, etc. It's completely dependent upon them. Apart from that, constraints and everything हर किसी के पास है. Baki, you have to work on that depending upon that. Like people take around 2 to 3 years to get into JBMS. So if we also could have complained कि यार increase कर देना चाहिए, because even in Ankit's first attempt he scored 99.93. I scored 99.83, and even after scoring such a good percentile, we weren't admitted into JBMS because obviously seat come. But my point being is वो तो difficulty हर किसी को face करना है. What you have to do is improve upon that, and we both improved. He scored a 99.99, secured All India rank 2. I scored a 99.96, and then we are here where we are right now. So efforts तो लगने ही वाला है. You can't run away with that. जो है अभी वो है. You have to face the reality. And coming to the total mark you need to get into the top 18 is go through the previous admission list. You can see वहाँ पे marks. You will get an idea. People securing a 99.97 in All India category get into JBIMS. At least 99.97. Marks would be ranging from roughly around 140 plus, I guess.
Right. Blossom has asked how to get better at LR. Okay, so very generic. If you would have specified, are there particular topics in LR, or in general you're talking about LR? So divide LR into three sub sections, right? So you have critical reasoning, you have traditional logic, and you have puzzles. Now for puzzles, all you need to be doing is practicing on a regular basis. Just practice different kinds of puzzles. Sit with a timer for every puzzle. See, ये puzzle करने को कितना time लग रहा है? Circular arrangement को how much time I'm taking? Matrix arrangements how much time I'm taking? When you practice different kinds of puzzles, one, your efficiency will improve, and second, you will also start coming to know which puzzle types are you stronger at and which puzzle types are you slightly weaker at, or you're taking slightly more time to interpret. And that gives you better idea during your mocks as well, because in mocks, when you come across certain puzzle types, then it will strike you at that moment that I've been a bit weak at this, so maybe I can keep this for later. I've been strong at this, so maybe I can attempt this. So that is how you can go about it for puzzles. For critical reasoning, again, just try to understand what are assumptions, what are assertions, what are reasoning, what are conclusion, what are inferences. Try to understand the basics of critical reasoning. And apart from this, you have to understand that accuracy for critical reasoning tends to remain on the lower side as compared to other sections of the CET exam. So ideally, don't end up spending too much time on a particular question of critical reasoning, because the questions are designed to be ambiguous, or the options are designed to be ambiguous. And chances are that if you're confused between two options, spending that extra 30 or 40 seconds beyond a minute may not help you resolve your confusion. So just mark a particular option if you're confused between 2 or 3 options, and just move on. Don't spend too much time on particular critical reasoning questions. And traditional logic, again, there are a lot of different types of questions that can be asked. So just practice on a regular basis, and just ensure that you are timing yourself, so basically you're conditioning your mind to get used to the time pressure. So that is very important when it comes to the LR section.
True. Anushree has asked, I've been continually facing in VARC. So the accuracy in VARC is low for each and every student, because there are three type of questions in VARC. One is the fact-based questions, which means the questions such as antonyms, synonyms, questions such as grammatical errors, close test, and match the column, sentence connector. So these require a set knowledge of certain grammar rules which are there in our login ID. If you go through these grammar rules, you'll get to know what exactly I'm trying to say. Apart from that, there are other questions such as inference-based questions, which could be RCs, fair examples, and there are questions such as inference plus assumption-based, which are critical reasoning questions. So in order to get more practice over this is to solve as many questions as possible, because you cannot get a proper accuracy in inference based question, because the author might be trying to say you something else but you might infer it something else, and then you have to make an assumption on it again. It might again you might again get confused. So the only thing you can do is practice as many questions as possible in this. I'd suggest go through time and test funda sectional test of verbal section entirely. Make a note of each and every grammar rules which you come across. And you see, if you're given more than 10 marks, go through each and every verbal section, 50 questions of the verbal in the last 10 marks, and you'll figure out majority of the questions are really similar, right? So make a list of all the grammar rules and try to see which are the questions you can, get correct in, and that should help you, I guess. Okay, so I think we are done for today, Ankit. We'll also come again after a couple of days, do a live again. Stay tuned for that. You can join our Telegram group for an update regarding our new live. And also you can join our course. The one-on-one mentoring session is still being happening. We're still providing it. Even today, I have mentored around 3 to 4 students who are, feel motivated. They are starting to do it. So all the best to everyone. Thanks for joining us. And I think even today, a lot of people might be watching the IPL match. So even after that, a lot of people have joined. We have 23 likes. It would be better if we get more than 25 likes. That would be much better. But yeah, stay tuned to our channel. We'll be doing a live again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
All the best, guys. Good night.